All right, our next sample is the full circle skirt. When you look in your book, you'll see when we're done drafting it, it's literally a huge circle when it's laying flat. So this larger circle would be the hem, and then the smaller circle is the waist. And if you watch the video of me drafting it by hand, you will see that you have to figure out your waist measurement. You start with your waist measurement, which in a circle is called your circumference. And once you know your circumference, you need to figure out your radius. And then by hand, we just use a radius measurement to actually draw it, all the way around with a ruler. But luckily in CLO, if you have your circumference, that's really all you need. I thought it might be a good idea. Maybe you guys should just do a little Google search if you're not really familiar with this. It's been a while since you did geometry. Here's the circumference, which is the outside of the circle, which in our case will be the waist measurement. And then the diameter is straight across. And that's actually important for us in CLO because I'm going to start with the waist measurement, but then I need to draft a way bigger circle. So that bigger circle is going to measure the length of my skirt. So I'm going to shoot for 20 inches. So I'll have 20 inches on the left seam. I'll also have 20 inches on the right seam, which is 40 inches. And then I got to add the diameter in here. So I'll have to figure out the diameter in order to do that. But CLO makes it really easy, which is great. Also, if you read your book, you'll find out real quick, if you read it, that when you are drafting the circumference around the waist, because you're cutting your fabric on the bias, it's going to stretch out super fast. So they are saying, let's say your waist ends up being 28 inches of what you're trying to draft. They say subtract a full inch for stretch. And then after that, after it's drafted, they even take it in more. They bring it, or they lower it. Oh, actually, I guess by lowering it, they're actually making it bigger. So never mind. But anyways, just note that if your waist is 28 inches, you're going to want to draft something smaller so it stays on. And also your book, to help you figure out the radius thing, they have this little fancy chart to help you do the math, so you don't actually have to do a pi formula, although it is kind of fun and cool to do a pi formula. But anyways, I digress. Let's get back on track. I want to also bring to your attention that there's a waistband. And most circle skirts have waistbands. Because another thing with a circle skirt, it does get heavy because there's so much fabric at the hem. And your fabric, it's going to stretch at the waist and sag. And it's just going to stretch out and fall off. So if you don't have a a waistband, you're definitely going to need some kind of facing on the inside or a bias tape to hold it tight. So I think when we draft it in CLO, we should add just a 1-inch waistband just to kind of hold it as well. So, okay, so let's go to CLO. I pulled up an avatar. I think she's size 10 curvy maybe, but to get started, I need to figure out the circumference of her waist because that's where the skirt's going to go. So I can use this measuring tape tool, edit measure avatar. Okay, I'm going to click it. There we are. And then we see these little lines, and okay, so since the update for me, for some reason, it's kind of hard to click them, but normally you just click it and it'll tell you, okay, but you really have to wait till it gets highlighted. There we go. See how it was blue? Then you click. When it's black and you click, it won't work. It kind of takes me a minute, just so you know. So her waist is 29 inches. I'm rounding down, I'm ignoring the 6, whatever. So 29 inches is her waist. So I need to make a circle with a circumference of 29 inches. So that's going to be a pattern piece. I'll use the ellipse and I'm just going to click once. So here we go. This is what I like about CLO. If you have your diameter, radius, or circumference, it'll make a circle. I have circumference and I want it 29. But you know what? I know that's going to be too big. So I'm going to subtract an inch. So I'm going to say 28 inches actually. And I'm going to say, okay. Okay, so like I said, I wanted it to be 20 inches long in length. So I need to figure out the diameter. If this is 20, whatever this diameter is, plus 20, it's going to be 40 something. So if I click one more time and I put in my circumference again, of 28, which is the same as the last circle, it'll tell me what the diameter is. Look at that. It says it's 8 point. It did the math for me. I didn't have to do a pi formula calculation. So, so I put in that, and then I just know I have to add 40 inches. So I'm going to make it 48. And I'll say, okay. Cool. So I have my 2 big circles. I think that's the hardest part because that's where we do our math. So anyways, now I need to align them. So I'm going to select both, and then to align, you just right click and a line comes up. I'm going to want to center them, and then I'm also going to want to do the middle. Now you'll notice my big circle covers the little one, which is kind of annoying. So if you right click, you can change the order as well. So I sent that to the back. So I wish right now I could click the right one and right click and say cut, but it's not there. And it's because it's a pattern piece. So I need to change this to be an internal line. So if I right click, I can say clone as internal shape, and then I'll just click somewhere on the big pattern piece. So now this internal shape's actually on the big circle. Now I need it to be aligned as well. And when I right click the internal shape, I don't have that awesome like align tool. So I kind of just need to line it up to the other pattern piece that I already aligned. Okay, cool. So now if I right click, I don't really know what I'm right clicking, to be honest with you. I don't know if that's the internal line or the pattern. If I right click, I can kind of see that the cut choice isn't there. So I'm thinking I clicked my pattern probably. So I'm just gonna move it. Yeah, I did. I don't need that pattern. I'm just gonna delete it. So now I can click my internal line, and if I right click, I can say cut. And that way I just cut a circle and I can delete it. I don't need it. Now, this is it. This is a circle skirt, but your customer's not gonna be able to get into it without a seam and a zipper and all that good stuff. So we need to add a seam. So I'm just gonna do one straight across, which will make this skirt 2 panels. So to do that, I'm going to use our internal line tool. And let's see, I'm holding Option to pan. I'm going to click one time here. I'm going to hold Shift. I'm going to click over here. And then I'm going to say Return. Okay, so I'm going to tell you right now that if we were to select this line, I can right click and I can say Cut and Sew. But it might not work because you first have to extend, trim, and add point. And that's just something I've learned from using CLO. So for me, I'm kind of just in the habit whenever I have an internal line to always extend, trim, and add point. So if you skip that, you'll see that cut and sew is probably going to be funky. So do that, say to pattern outline. So we're going to do that first. And then when I right click on this line, cut and sew is going to work perfectly. Great, there it is. I have my 2 pattern pieces. So my pattern is actually done. I could play with the waist shape like the book suggested by dropping it a 1/4 inch, but I'd rather throw it on the avatar for a fit before I decide to do that. I think the hard part now is to place it on our avatar. I tried a couple things. I tried just like lining it up and sewing it, and what happened is that the seam's above her arms, so I just like yanked it down. But I think a better way might be to use our pins, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna select the front. I guess this will be the back. So I'm gonna put the front where I want it. I'm gonna hit the number 2 to kind of get a center read. I'm gonna hit 4 for the side seam. I'm gonna bring it a little closer. Okay, cool. Now I'll click the back. And let's see here. For the back, I think I'm gonna rotate it. Yeah, awesome. And I guess bring it down over here. I'm gonna hit 4, no, 6, nope, 5, nope, 7, 8, 8. So I can see the back view and line that guy up 2. I'm gonna hit 2 again. I think that's good. So I'm gonna put some pins in right now. So we need that tool for my pins. I think it's underneath here. There it is. Pin like I can do a little box, I guess is fine. So just pinning center front. I'm going to do the same to the back. So that way when I drape it, that's not going to fall to the ground because of gravity. And then another thing, I'm going to simulate just to show you what's going to happen. What's going to happen is that the side seams are going to sew and our arm's going to be stuck. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that right now. So you can see that. Yeah. So what I did last time was I kind of just yanked it and it sort of worked. I like ripped it. But anyways, I don't really need to do that. I think a better thing to do actually is with the sewing tool, I can right click and I can say deactivate sewing. And then look, it falls, yay. And then I can do it again to, oh, okay, wait, you know, maybe I'm gonna unsimulate real quick. Oops. And I'm gonna do it to the other side. Deactivate sewing. And then I'm going to simulate again. And let's see what happens. Did I do both? Let me just double check. I might not have. Click you. I'm going to deactivate sewing. And I'm also going to, oh, I don't have to deactivate this one. Okay, so I guess I reactivated it without even realizing it. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to resimulate. I can stop right there if I want, and I can reactivate it. I think that's easier than like yanking it, to be honest with you. 2, 4, let's look at this. Okay, so let's simulate again. Cool. Okay, so I could deactivate the pins. I am worried it might be a little big and it's gonna fall off and stretch out. So I do wanna make a waistband that's gonna fit her. So to do that, I'm just gonna draft a rectangle. And I said her waist was 29 inches, so maybe I'll just make the rectangle 29 inches exactly. I guess I could make it a little snugger, but let's just start with 29. And I'll just make it 1 inch wide, and I'll say okay. Okay, so now I'm gonna place this on my avatar. Let's see, I'll hit number 2. I'm gonna pull out my arrangement points so it'll help me like wrap it around her. There we are. But I think I want the side seam. I don't want the seam in the back. So I'm gonna have to, here, I'm gonna get rid of her arrangement points. I'm gonna click this guy. I'm gonna hit 2, 4. Okay, and I'm gonna rotate it. Okay. Let's see if that looks good. Hit 2. Try to get this back on her. Okay, I think that's good. Okay. So I'm gonna, so one thing I tried to do earlier, and I won't make you guys do it right now, but there's this really cool new tool, auto sewing. I tried to use it to see if it would know how to sew the waistband to the skirt. It didn't work for me. That's okay. I'm still gonna keep practicing and trying it. So for now, I'm just gonna manually tell it how to sew the waistband together. So I'm gonna start with just sewing the waist to itself. There we are. And you know, I think I'm gonna simulate. Let's see what that looks like on her. Yeah, cool. Okay, so now it's on her. So now I have to sew it to the skirt. I do realize the skirt is smaller than the waistband. So, so the waistband's 29 inches. The skirt, I kind of forgot. Maybe it's like 28 inches. I'm not even sure, especially if you ended up fitting it and changing it a little. So I'm just gonna sew half of it, I guess. So to do that, first, I want to know where I'm starting. Where is this on the girl? Here's right here. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Sorry. I'm going to try to select right here. Where, if I select right here, what is that? Okay, yeah. And then where's this part? Okay, good. Yeah, so I'm going to start with the sewing tool. I'm going to use the free sewing. I'm going to start here at the bottom. And I want to sew exactly half. So I distribute the fullness of the skirt evenly. So half of 29 is 14.5, right? So I could try to eyeball it, but I think it's easier if I just right click. And I can just type in 14.5. Say okay. And then, okay, I want to make sure. Oh gosh, where are you? Which one is that? Yeah. Okay, so then I want to sew here all the way. Cool. You can see that blue dot shows that it's smaller. That's okay. It'll just have to ease it together. Then I'm going to go U to U. Uh-oh, did I do that backwards? Okay, I don't know what I just did there. Let's try that one more time. Oh, did I not finish this guy? Oh, I guess I have to click it, and I didn't click it. Okay. Okay, maybe I'll give it a minute. Did that work? Are we happy? Yes, it looks good. Okay, so now I'm going to do the other side. 14.5. And I'll continue sewing here. And I hope I did that right. let's take a look at my seam lines. It looks like the stitching looks good on the front, and it also looks good on the back. So yeah, I'm good. So now I have to get rid of the pins. And if you kind of forget how to do that, I was like messing around like, oh, I kind of forgot. What do I do? You have to right click on the avatar. I was right clicking on the pattern and that didn't really work. I was in this edit pin tool. So if I right click, oh gosh, see, now it's not even there anymore. Here, if I pick the pattern, what if I select the pattern? I don't know why, this part is not very intuitive to me. Delete all pins, yay, thank you. And it did it from the front and the back. Cool, so now I'm ready to go ahead and simulate. Yay. Okay, so 2. You can see it's kind of a little crooked on her. Maybe it is a little big. I'll bring this up a little higher, kind of fit it on her. But her hem is straight. That's pretty cool. Oh yeah, it was dipping in the back. So yeah, it's definitely too big. I'm probably gonna have to tighten the waistband a little bit. So what if I just did that right now? Okay, let's see if I can, maybe if I just change the length. I wonder if I can do both. I've never tried doing both at the same time. Let's see if this will work. Right click, change length, no, that's okay. Okay, so let's do this. Right click, change length. Oh, what do you think? 1/4 inch? And I'll do it to both sides. That might be too much, but I'm gonna say, oh, yeah, I'm gonna say 28.75. And where is that? Oh, I don't know which way it's doing. Let me say cancel, hold on. I need to look at my pattern so I know. Okay, there we go. Right click, change length. Ah! There we are. Okay. 28.75. Okay, so it's bringing it in that way. I'll say okay. I want to do the same at the top. 28.75. Okay. Oh, what did I do? Actually, that's okay. And then I'm going to right click and I'm going to do it again, change length. This time I'm going to say 28.5. And I'll choose, oh, I should have done both. Duh. So I'll live and learn. End. Okay. And then I'll do the same here, change length, 28.5. I definitely did that the hard way. I think both might be new from the update. Okay, cool. Anyways, let's simulate that. Okay. We could pull up our fit map if we want. Give it a little look. Yeah, it's tight on her. So there we go. That's our circle skirt. You can keep playing around with fit if you want. Also, when you do the skirt, there's probably interfacing in it. So it's not a bad idea maybe to even strengthen it. Maybe that's something we should do. Let's see here. Oh, I'm going to unsimulate. We can just select this piece and strengthen it and see if that makes a difference. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. And then get rid of the fit map. And let's try that. That makes any difference? I can lift it up a little bit. There we go. Oh. So we'll play it that way. There we are. So now it has like interfacing, right? So it's staying more straight. So you got to get your model to put it on the right way. So sometimes you have to help her a little bit get dressed. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and simulate that. And, oh, that was simulated, just kidding. Okay, cool. So then that's it. Now you're ready to add your prints and print out your pattern, and you have your circle skirt.